So many things had happened, so many years of being together.
It would be hard to imagine country music without Faith Hill. That makes her early struggles to land a record deal in Nashville even more shocking. Faith was also dealing with a personal struggle too, and one guy was by Faith's side when all this drama was happening in her 20s. You might not know that Faith was married to this guy. So, who is Faith's first husband? Listen closely to the shocking truth. Faith was only 19 years old when she first moved to Nashville.
That started my performing live career in Nashville.
She had only been living in Music City for a few days when she met her first husband. His name is Daniel Hill. That's where Faith got the last name that she still uses to this day. We still don't know what Daniel looks like, but he has set the record straight on something. When he met Faith, Daniel says he was immediately floored by her presence. Shockingly, Daniel's intense attraction to Faith happened before he even heard her sing. Daniel was an executive at a music publishing company in Nashville when he met Faith. He was meeting with a songwriter, and the songwriter asked Daniel if he could bring in a friend from Mississippi. That friend was Faith.
Take me as I am.
Daniel definitely took to Faith, and he asked her out a few weeks after they first met. Daniel made a crazy choice for his first date with Faith. He decided to take her to a sushi bar in Nashville. Shockingly, he revealed that their first date was pretty awkward. Faith told him that there wasn't a sushi bar in Star, Mississippi. That's where Faith grew up with her adopted parents. But Daniel was still very much into Faith, and years later, he still admired her adventurous spirit and willingness to try raw fish. The real truth is, Daniel became hooked on Faith after that. He even helped her get a receptionist job at Gary Morris's office. Gary was not only a big-time businessman in Nashville, he was a great singer too. Daniel knew that Faith was pursuing her own music dreams. He said that he and Faith constantly went to songwriter nights and artist showcases around Nashville. Daniel revealed he was always trying to keep Faith focused on her dreams. But Daniel had his own dreams too. He wanted to marry Faith, and only 1 year and a few months after they first met, his wish came true. Faith was just 20 years old when she married Daniel on the 23rd of July. Her boss Gary made a shocking claim about Faith's marriage. Gary claimed that Faith was a devoted wife to Daniel. He also alleged that Faith told him she was only getting married one time in her life. So Gary figured that Daniel would be Faith's first and only husband. But Daniel later made a shocking confession about his marriage to Faith. While he claimed that Faith was ambitious, Daniel also said she was confused. He even said that Faith got frustrated with the music business. And shockingly, Daniel alleged that Faith wanted to give up on her dream. He said that Faith began to focus on cooking and decorating their home. You won't believe this, but Daniel even said Faith decided to quit music and go to interior design school. Daniel set the record straight. He said that he always knew Faith's true talent was in music, so he kept steering her back to the music industry. But shockingly, Daniel's belief in Faith's talent could have contributed to the end of their marriage. Although neither Daniel nor Faith knew it yet, another future superstar was making a name for himself in country music. It was Tim McGraw.
Style and stage presence are as big as his Stetson.
And Faith would later provide shocking details of her tough road to true love. Faith made a crazy claim to People magazine. She even seemed to downplay the effect and influence that Daniel had on her early career. Faith said that she was always the driven and ambitious one, and that she was totally in charge of her own career. Martha Sharp is an inside source who's known Faith since she got her first record deal. Martha's side of the story is, Faith wanted fame in the worst way, and shockingly, she was willing to do whatever needed to be done. Some insiders claim that Faith's marriage to Daniel ended because she met Tim. That's not the real truth. But what really happened is still pretty shocking. The first time she met Tim, Faith was recently divorced from Daniel, while Tim was engaged to someone else named Kristen Donahue. This happened in 1994 at the New Faces show for country radio stations.
You touched my heart.
It might have been nothing more than a quick hello, how are you? But shockingly, Tim and Faith would both admit that there had been a spark between them that night. 2 years after their first faithful meeting, Tim handpicked Faith to be his opening act on the Spontaneous Combustion tour. Was it just a coincidence that Tim had broken off his engagement to Christine? Either way, there was still a big issue, because Faith had gotten engaged again after she divorced Daniel. Her then fiance was a record producer named Scott Hendricks. Scott had produced Faith's first 2 albums, so the person who said she was only getting married once was prepared to do it all over again, until she met Tim, and truly fell in love. Faith broke it off with Scott. She also set the record straight on her first marriage. Faith said she was young and that she jumped into the fire way too soon. But while Faith blamed her youth and inexperience, Daniel believes there's another side to their breakup story. That's the personal struggle that Faith was dealing with during her marriage to Daniel. The real truth is, Faith had been adopted at birth. And although she grew up knowing she was adopted, the story of her birth mother will shock you, because Faith's adopted parents lied to her about her birth. Faith was told that her birth mother had an affair with a married man. She was also told that this man refused to leave his wife for Faith's birth mother. Shockingly, Shockingly, that story wasn't true. Not only did Faith's real parents stay together, they went on to get married, and they had another child. Faith grew up in a loving home with her adoptive parents, not knowing any better, but deep down, she always felt like something was missing. And a few years after she married Daniel, she began searching for her birth mother. Daniel revealed that Faith's search for her birth mother totally consumed her, and her search was also happening at the craziest time in her professional life. By the early 90s, Faith's dream of music superstardom was actually coming true, but instead of being overcome with joy over her newfound success, Daniel alleged that Faith's world came crashing down. Shockingly, she finally found her birth mother, and Daniel called that moment a profound, life-altering experience for Faith. Faith has also revealed shocking details of meeting her birth mother for the first time. She had never met someone else who looked like her. She said it filled her, unlike anything she'd ever felt before. Faith finally realized that she had to let go of her old life, and shockingly, Daniel realized that too. He even refers to himself as part of Faith's old world, although he claims there's no bitterness. Daniel also says he's proud of Faith's success. Maybe Faith heard the sweet things that Daniel said about her after she dumped him, because she gave another side of the story in an interview with Good Housekeeping. Faith said she was going through so much before her first marriage ended. She called herself a flower that was trying to bud. Shockingly, Faith also called her first marriage a disguise. She claimed that she needed to deal with her issues in life. Although Faith did say something nice about Daniel, even if she never mentioned his name. Faith told Good Housekeeping that she wasn't trying to say anything bad about the first person she married. And by the time Faith met Tim, she confessed she wasn't about to let him slip through her fingers. But what do you guys think about Faith's first marriage? Did you know she was also engaged to someone else when she met Tim? Let me know in the comments below.